Welcome to Complete the Square. And no, it's not me. I'm already complete. Okay, here we go. Complete the square. And it's not that kind of completing the square by moving that into there. What we're going to do is this. We're going to have basically, this is the formula for a circle. And we want to identify the center of the circle and the radius of the circle, or how long the radius is. So the first thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to rewrite the problem grouping the x's together and the y's together, and I'm simply going to move 9 to the other side. Notice I've grouped the x's together, y's together, and the 9. Now, I would personally, when I go to this step right here, really write it almost like this, skipping a space between the 6x and the y to put a number there, and creating a little space here because I want to look at this part. I'm going to look at each of these parts individually. All right? And here's what I got to do. I have to complete this such that if there's a number that goes here that if I was to factor just those three terms, it would make a thing in parentheses that foiling makes it. That's why it's called completing the square, because if I were to square what's in parentheses, it'll make what I'm going to put there. And the way to do that, if you always think about your terms, that term's always doubled. So if I take that 6 and divide it by 2, I'll have the number that's going to go in the parentheses. But yet that number still has to be squared to get the number that's going to add in right there. So what's 3 squared? It's 9. So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to add 9 to each side. Because as long as I add 9 to each side, the equation is still balanced. And now I'm going to look at this one right here. I'm going to look at right here. Notice there's no number in front of the y squared. So all I have to do is take this negative 12 and divide it by 2. Just like I did over here with the 6. Now that was true because there's no number there. Take negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. So I know I'm going to have a negative 6 in my parentheses, but what is negative 6 times negative 6? Positive 36. So I'm going to add 36 to that side and that side. And what I have done is I have now completed a thing here that I can factor this one and I can factor that one. And this one factors to x plus 3, y minus 6. As you can see, the same 3 that is right there, with 36 being the r squared. So the center of the circle is at HK. Well, remember, these are inside liars. So if it says plus 3 here, it means it's really at what? Negative 3. And the negative 6 is really a positive 6 for the center of the circle. And to find the radius, well, it's just, if that's r squared, then all I have to do is square root it, so 6. I have found the center of the circle and the radius by completing the square. And basically completing the square is getting the x's grouped, the y's grouped. Now if there's a number in front, you have to divide by those first, but there's not. So here I just take that number divided by 2, that number divided by 2, and then you square it. That's what's being added. That's it, and you have completed the square.